I was in Calcutta, India, one night. I thought, okay, I'm going to try to like sketch out a concept for the essay. So I was like wandering around in this apartment all by myself, just like a mad scientist all night, jotting down ideas. And I finally came to this idea that became the piece, but I didn't like it actually. I was like, oh, that sucks. I don't want to do it. And later that night, I was FaceTiming with my little sister back in the States. And in the course of our conversation, I was like, yeah, you know, there's this essay contest I'm thinking. And she, whoa, what are you going to write? I don't know. I kind of had this concept, such and such. And she goes, I really like that. You should do it. And I was like, you do? So like a couple days later, I took a plane up into the Himalayas, and I was in Darjeeling. And it was monsoon season, so thick clouds in the mountains, you can't even really see. So I was like stuck in this hotel for like 3 or 4 days. And one morning I got up early and I was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna write it. And I just had these concepts. They were just sort of like, well, maybe I'll touch on this and maybe I'll touch on this. And originally I thought it's gonna be a series of letters. But then I just started writing and probably halfway through I was like, I think it's just one letter. For me, in some sense, love and logos go together very closely, and I think I wrote in this particular form as sort of an answer to a personal anxiety that I have, that love doesn't last. And you know, I don't have ambitions to be the dean of Harvard Divinity School, but I do have ambitions to just like succeed, and I'm concerned about the relational fallout of professional ambition. And I'm concerned about this idea. What if I got married and 20 years later, like just love had flatlined? Like, where would I be then? I think that humans are a bit psychologically stable as we progress. So there's all sorts of new technologies and apparatuses around our lives today. But I think we as humans are stable. And one of the reasons I know that is whenever I read the Hebrew Bible or the New Testament, I find it deeply accessing my most private hopes, anxieties, weaknesses, all these things. So it's like whoever wrote those things had been reading my journal. So I think that going forward in theological studies as like a discipline, I think those human components will stay more or less stable, which I think will generate a more or less stable discourse, in the sense, not stable as if to say there won't be change or there won't be discoveries or there won't be new schools of thought, but stable as if to say we'll still be asking questions that intimately and powerfully access and try to make sense of what it means to be human. One of the things I think about a lot is different levels of epistemology. So there's a type of knowledge that does have to do with books, that does have to do with paying careful attention to the tradition, paying careful attention to the grammar of the sacred text and all that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of epistemology that we reward in formal education. That's as it should be. But religion teaches us that there's a different type of knowing. There's a knowing of relationship to other humans. There's a knowing of relationship to God. And that is no inferior type of knowledge. In fact, I think it's superior. So the thing is I think I'll just personalize it, if I become a theologian who is writing out of a wealth of knowledge of the historical tradition, but I'm not writing out a wealth of knowledge of God, God's self. I'm not writing out of a wealth of experiential knowledge of loving other human beings, then I'm a bad theologian. When I study theology and sacred texts and philosophy, I'm spending my time on texts that think they make a claim on me. And they think they're making a claim on how I understand reality and how I interact with reality. And that could be exhausting. And on the far side of the exhaustion, it's easy to become cynical and apathetic. And just be like, yeah, well, I study that stuff. And in particular, because I know how to sort of qualify or historically situate or delegitimize it, I'm not answerable to it. You know, now I don't have to actually do what they're saying. And so I guess I'm really interested or concerned personally about myself as a religious scholar and the very real possibility of becoming jaded, and jaded to love itself, jaded to mercy itself, jaded to courage itself. But I can write a great essay about it. You know, I can write books about it, But doing the thing itself, like we'll leave that to the laity. And I think that insofar as if theological education is not attuned to that question, that just undermines the whole program.